Welcome to the Backpack Blisters podcast, brought to you by the best ultralight quilt makers in the history of the world, Enlightened Equipment. With me today is Ben McAuliffe. How's it going?
It's going good. Are you excited? Like, this is kind of a big episode for us. We got some surprises, and we got the Curse of Oak Island guys.
Yeah. So, have you watched the show much?
I watched the first 3 seasons pretty regularly. I was working as an EMT, and so we had a lot more time on our hands in between calls, and it was on all the time. It kind of dropped off, but picked up again. So it's kind of I'm excited. It's going to be big.
They're about to start their 12th season. They've been at this for a long time. I've watched quite a bit over the years. I really like, it's like a family-friendly show, so like my family will watch sometimes. And it's just like, it's like a positive show. So I think it's it's exciting for me to be able to talk to the guys that kind of, been watching on TV. So yeah. Yeah.
And are they backpackers? Like, why are we having them on the show, Carl?
Like, how does the Curse of Oak Island relate to backpacking blisters?
Are we turning into the History Channel podcast? Like, if we put curse in front of backpacking blisters, will we get hired by History Channel?
Oh my gosh. We should try that. The Curse of Backpacking and Blisters. Really, it's an encouragement. I don't know, but it doesn't really relate to backpacking. I think, we got to figure out a way to ask some sort of like hiking or backpacking related question at some point in the interview, just to like connect the dots. What do you think?
I think I'm up to it. I think we'll add it.
All right. Before we get to this conversation we've had with the Oak Island guys, for those who haven't seen the show, The Curse of Oak Island, what's the synopsis? What's it about?
Oh, it's about an island that has a curse, which me and you don't believe in curses, but it doesn't sound like they do either. And they're looking for this gold that's buried like way beneath the island, and it's them trying to find the gold.
If I had to predict how you would tell the story, what? I would have gotten it 100% correct right there.
Okay, what? Tell me. Okay, hey Carl, what's the Curse of Oak Island about? Tell me, please.
A mysterious group buried a bunch of gold on this island. Over the years, over the generations, people have tried to dig up this gold, and they have these weird like wooden slats 10 feet down, 20 feet down, with signs that suggest the gold is there, but it's been booby-trapped. And so water comes in from the ocean, it floods them out, and they can't get to the gold. The curse, I think, is like a side note, but people are trying to dig this gold up. So with modern technology, we have the Lagina brothers. They're going to get the gold. Is it going to happen this season? We're going to find out. What do you think?
That was long. That was exactly what I said, just with more words.
That's funny. All right. So for our Bible verse of the episode is 1 Samuel 6:4. What is the guilt offering that we, referring to the Philistines, shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. So this is actually like the book that we're going through in our B&B Bible study.
Right.
And this is when the Philistines were plagued after taking the Ark of the Covenant from the Hebrews. And this is like well before Indiana Jones found it. So, like, would you want a golden tumor?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. We were talking about that during Bible studies, like, and mice. Like, here's the golden tumor. And then did they make it off of like someone's tumor and just like, here it is?
Like
or
a mold?
Yeah. I mean, if it's gold, I'll take it because I can melt it down and turn it into something good,
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I don't think I want any golden tumors.
So I think that on Oak Island they'll take any kind of gold. Probably I don't anticipate golden tumors being down in the money pit. What do you think?
Oh, that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun if they discover that.
Yeah.
Then they can link it to the Philistines.
That's right.
And then it becomes a greater treasure.
They have theories about not just gold and silver being down there, but whatever. It's like ancient texts, which probably aren't going to hold up under the water for thousands of years, or whatever, or hundreds of years.
I thought you meant texts, like IT texts.
Oh, that too.
Not like
right.
Yeah.
Do you any other theories about what else could be down there besides just like treasure and books?
Nails? I think they've found nails, so nails are
they found a lot of those.
Yeah. What if it's like something like been trapped down there, like they're actually uncovering some ancient monster or something.
Yeah. They should be. We should tell them that. Like kind of. Yeah. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, we've got Rick and Marty Lagina from the Curse of Oak Island right now. With us today are the stars of History Channel's The Curse of Oak Island, 2 men who've attacked a challenge with a perseverance unknown to mankind. Rick and Marty Lagina, how's it going today, gentlemen?
Good. Thank you, Carl. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining the show. All right. So Treasure Hunting Magazine has both of you ranked third for most famous treasure hunters.
Oh boy.
Care to guess who's ranked ahead of you?
Really? Who's ranked ahead of us?
Yeah.
Mel Fisher.
Mel Fisher, I think fifth on the list, so good guess.
We are above Mel Fisher. Oh, no pressure there. Yeah, that's fabulous.
Rick, do you have a guess?
Oh, maybe the guy that found Tutankhamun's tomb.
Oh, that's a good guess right there.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Yes,
Jones.
fourth on the list. Fourth. Now we're talking. So I have, let's see, let me look at the list here. It is Ben Gates from National Treasure and Mikey from Goonies.
Okay, now I understand our position. And us.
Yes. Not a bad list to be on, right?
No, the Goonies actually is, people have really made some connections between that film and what we're doing.
Wait, is there a crime family chasing you guys around?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's just, young men, young boys, chasing a fabulous treasure.
Okay, Rick, how do we qualify for that? That ended a long time ago.
Well, I'm hearkening back to when we first learned it.
Okay.
So speaking of treasure, like what is the most exciting thing you guys have found on Oak Island?
I think there were two things. One was just in the garden shaft being underground. Marty and I both were lucky enough to be underground and realize the efforts not only of the original depositors but the searchers. How committed you had to be. How you had to. I mean, it's incredibly dangerous being underground, and the fact that those men committed themselves to. Again, the original depositors, there would have been a reason, a why to do that. And the searchers, there would have been a different why, a significantly different why. But to be underground and realize the enormity of the task, to realize the difficulties associated with it, gives you absolute respect for what those men labored to do, whether they were depositors or searchers. They certainly well and truly believed.
He does this all the time on the island.
Yeah.
Wait, the cameras are on and then the phone's going. Does that happens?
Yeah, that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always him.
I'm bad.
We got to leave that in. That's got to make the cut.
I know. We got to start saying, our cell phones off, people? Everyone has their cell phones off.
We hear that all the time.
Yeah, I'll answer that question, though, but
Yeah, go ahead.
the problem is the most significant things we found to me occurred this year, and so I can't tell you.
Oh,
okay.
cliffhanger.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all have a different perspectives.
So do you find it awesome, like when you guys are underground and they're like people have built something like hundreds of years ago underground? Because I don't want to dig a hole. Like I get like halfway through digging a hole for something and I'm like, I'm done. Like this thing's
No, it's incredible.
this thing's way too hard.
And digging on Oak Island is worse than any place I've ever encountered. I mean, I drilled a lot of wells in my career. It's just unbelievable rock hard clay. And Rick and I were down almost 100 feet in a wooden shaft, and with all the modern technology that allowed that to be built. And these guys who were there before us did it all by hand with horses and stuff. Incredible.
Oh.
Absolutely incredible. And scary.
For sure. Now, do
Right.
you guys with
Right.
the clay? Is that how you guys are subsidizing your budget? Is like selling bricks, like making bricks and selling them?
Yeah. Would you like to buy some?
I would
I
love.
can
Yeah.
make what you want.
A side hustle. They don't video that part. They have a business, like a lemonade stand, but like a brick stand off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If I wasn't in this office, I could show you. We'd actually fired some of it. And it does fire up really nice.
that'll be on the next season. Is the
They
tour of the
literally
brick?
made bricks.
Yeah, the tour of the brick factory.
Play, baby.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
What's the craziest like character like theory that's come to you guys? Like and some probably don't make the make the cut for the camera, but have you had guys even behind the scenes like, hey, I know where the treasure is. Just follow this, and like aliens have told me.
Well, let me just say this about that. Actual reality is so crazy itself that you almost can't discard any theory. I mean, because the reality of what we find is so crazy. But to give you a brief feeling for that, Dave Blankenship himself always said, half seriously, he'd call them "my people did it," and what he meant was he meant aliens. We have discarded that.
Okay.
We've had all kinds, Rick. I mean, we had the guy who thought there was a golden arm in the bottom of a pond, and if he went and pulled it, he wanted us to attach a rope to him, so he did go in, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Wow.
I don't want to make fun of the guy because he done his own research,
Okay.
and the island
Yeah.
itself is crazy.
To me, it's the expansiveness of the various theories. I mean, they run the gamut from all of the islands in Mahone Bay being connected by tunnels. Mr. Blankenship, actually, based on all of his 60 years of work, he believed that the island was connected to the mainland. He had theories that were, again, quite expansive. He believed, and based on his dowsing, which he absolutely emphatically believed in, he believed that he had doused tunnels and rooms off of those tunnels. And the truth is, as Marty said, until you disprove them, they're part of the agenda. They're part of the activity. Now, some would rank lower than others, but look, we don't know. After all of our efforts, we still don't know. So it would be wrong of us to say, well,
Yeah.
that one we can discard. We can put it low on the totem pole, if you will, or really higher on the totem pole. But it's wrong of us to say that is not applicable.
But I'll tell you what, you get desperate on the island. I think searchers before us got desperate and started believing some kind of wacky stuff. And you get desperate, you're so sure that there's something there and you're missing it. I mean, there've been a lot of parapsychology sort of stuff that went on the island too.
And both of you being very respectful with people that might have some kind of outlandish theories or theories that maybe you wouldn't suspect are very plausible. But I imagine once the show started years ago that it kind of pulled people out of the woodwork. And so my thought is, like, how are people even presenting these theories to you? Are they, I mean, once you get production going, I imagine you have like the caution tape up. Are people swimming to the island? They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I got to run something by you real quick. Like how, or are they emailing you, or like, how does this happen?
All of the above, except I don't know about the swimmer.
Okay.
Would you hire the swimmer though? Like,
Sure. Well, we get a lot of emails. People have showed up in person. And the thing about it is, even the most outlandish ones in my book have been courteous. They don't. Nobody's really jumped us and got in our face and said you have to do this. They're really trying to help. It's amazing.
And they're probably responding to your courteous nature as well, because you come across as very respectful to everybody on the show, which is,
We try to be.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's great. All right, so Ben keeps on bringing up aliens. I think he's semi-obsessed here. So, Marty, I do have an alien question for you. Because you were on an episode of Ancient Aliens, and when you think of Oak Island and you think of the show Ancient Aliens, like, in my mind at least, those two don't really go together. So I'm wondering, like, how does that conversation go down? You're looking for a treasure, and then somebody approaches you. What do they say to you to sort of transition you to that completely different show?
That was multifaceted. Prometheus does both those shows, and I had watched
Okay.
Ancient Aliens. I mean, Giorgio is quite a character. I got to meet him in person, of course, and but also
Right.
Sardinia is a really interesting place. We're Italian by ancestry. There's some really strange things that happened on Sardinia as well. I mean, that's a prime example, right? Is it far-fetched that aliens landed and did all this stuff, 10,000 years ago? Yeah, far-fetched, but can you really rule it out entirely? And you can't. And so I thought it would be a who, really. That's what it comes down to go to this place in Italy with a really long history. I mean, they were building giant things there, like pyramid-like things, right about the same time as the pyramids themselves. So it was just really interesting. It was just another facet of things.
Did you want to bring a comb or a brush to get his hair to go down? That thing's like shooting up all over the place.
What is Violence?
No, on the Ancient Alien show.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
No, Giorgio is incredibly proud of his hair. If it starts, he wants it shooting up all over the place, and if you touch it, you are in trouble.
Okay, all right. He must have warned you, or the producers warned you, like, hey, he's friendly, just don't touch his hair.
Don't touch the hair. No, don't. Kevin Burns, who was behind all of this, passed away since. Genius, entertainment genius. He told me, and I never checked it out, but he said Giorgio's hair has its own fan club.
I believe that. If you guys watch Hairstylist magazine, read it at all. He's ranked number 2. So
He's ranked number 2. All right, Rick, I got a question for you. This is so getting back to the whole like theories, and it sounds like you're open-minded. Both of you are open-minded to pretty much anything and everything, and that definitely comes across in the show. But over the seasons, there have been some pretty interesting ones from, I mean, the Knights Templar keeps on coming up. We've heard Shakespeare, Francis Bacon. So from your experience, you don't have to commit to one, but at this point in the show, what do you think, Rick, is the most plausible theory?
I don't know. We've tried to break it down based on the testing methodologies applied, periods of time. Steve Guptill, actually, our surveyor, actually did that work. He was tasked with doing that. And there are some windows of time that affirm the plausibility of all of these theories being possible. Not necessarily reach the probable level, but the Baconian theory, the Shakespeare connection, the Rosicrucian Freemasonry connection, the Knights Templar connection, all of them fit within the windows of time that have been formulated by C14 testing, dendrochronology analysis, artifact analysis. And that's probably been, Marty can speak to it better than I, that's been one of the most frustrating things is if you put all of the theories on a bell-shaped curve, it's easy to eliminate the peripheral ones. But the middle, it's been very difficult. And in fact, I don't think at this point we have eliminated any of them. Pirates, Templars.
We could rank them pretty well.
We can rank them.
Yeah.
So what's the number 1 seed then in your mind, or up there, I guess?
You know, as soon as I said that, I wished I had. Actually.
we're big on ranking items, as you can tell from the show already.
I knew that was going to be the next question.
I mean, you're again, you're being respectful. You don't want to rule anything out, but I mean, you get these clues, and you're like, well, this clue supports this theory, and there's got to be a clue that you got where you're like, yeah, I told you, I think this is the theory.
To me, any theory has to be associated with something, a deposition of something more than just temporal wealth, given the engineering that was done to protect something deep underground. The Smith's Cove work, the flood tunnel, the convergence point, the booby trap, the shaft to 100 plus feet, all of that suggests something more important than just temporal wealth.
There it is.
I just wonder. Yeah, I just wonder if he's more popular than you.
But to me, that emphatically speaks to something more than just money.
I'd be okay with just money.
And all of us would be. But it speaks to something more than money. And if that is the case, then you have to analyze the various theories based on that. That's just my perspective. And the theories that come to mind are something associated with perhaps Knights Templar. You will learn something this year associated with a certain theory being posited that will bring to the fore a group that we have as of yet not completely understood and their relevance to possibly their association with Oak Island. That group has a presence from the 1600s to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, but here's a nice thing about the show, though, that I think really fits from the History Channel standpoint. As we follow these various theories, you can't follow them without intertwining what was happening in the world at that time. And so whatever it shakes out as the ultimate thing that happened here, there's all kinds of history lessons that are happening in the meantime for us too. I mean, I've learned so much, and I thought I was pretty good at history, but I've learned so much. Because if you're going to say, I don't care, pick one, Captain Kidd's treasure is here. Well, then you have to look in, well, what did he do exactly? And where was he exactly?
Yeah.
And who hired him? And how did he screw up so bad that they hung him from the yard in England? And so there's so many intertwined things that makes it really interesting for us too.
And we're learning too, as viewers of the show. Obviously, we're getting that connection too. So it is very historically informative. Both of you did an excellent job avoiding the question as far as not committing to a theory, but it sounds like we have something to look forward to because there's going to be kind of a new group
Absolutely.
introduced here in this next season.
And it's not just a theory that we think. To me, the theory will reveal itself when we find this thing. And I think we found some really strong clues on where to focus our efforts, more so than we ever have been before. And then when we find it, I think the theory will become obvious.
Hopefully so. Right.
Right. I always am very interested in learning what others think. So, Carl, Ben, what do you believe happened on Oak Island?
I mean, honestly, like the Knights Templar theory, it feels like that's been pushed more than any other theory over the years. And so I'm probably just a sucker, like, a viewer who's just kind of buying into what's getting, fed to me. So, and I find the Knights Templar to be very interesting. So I would go Knights Templar. Ben, what would you go?
I think more pirates. You guys haven't come across like, I'm a big fan of documentaries like National Treasure and National Treasure 2. And they always come across traps, and stuff. So I haven't seen any traps on your show yet where you guys like reach your hand in and you almost lose it, or, spikes are coming down like Indiana Jones. So I think more pirates, just because the lack of traps. Yeah.
There's a water trap though, for sure.
Oh,
the flood tunnels.
Yeah.
The flood tunnels, yeah.
Even in the garden shaft, Marty and I were down there, and then we saw the video of the amount of water, the volume of water that came in on the guys that were down there. I mean, it was explosive. It was. It could have been catastrophic.
Right.
We were pumping almost 800 gallons a minute.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And we don't understand where that water was coming from, and it turns out it was approached the salinity of seawater.
Okay.
Well, we know that it's always been positive. If you believe in the tunnels, they would have been on the ocean.
Yeah. Who set the trap off then? Was there a wire, or do you guys move the wrong code on?
I think that was sealed with that clay we were talking about.
Okay.
I think what happened is that they sealed it with clay, and then when you release the overburden as you're digging down, that plug becomes less and less stable.
Yeah.
Until finally the pressure pops it off.
Right.
And if that's really what happened, and if that's really how it was designed, it was really clever.
Yeah.
Ingenious.
They're trying to convince me, Carl, that it's the Templars and not the pirates. So is it a curveball?
Pirates are, it looked like from old pictures, they struggled just like brushing their teeth, or like attention to detail was not their thing. I mean, outside of like One-Eyed Willie, I don't really know of any pirates that were like, had really good traps and like,
Marty, tell them about your favorite pirate.
Now, there's a guy that not many people know about. His name is Peter Easton.
Okay.
He was a pirate long before the golden age of piracy. He had a navy. This guy took on the British Empire in the Channel. And the thing I like about him, he had like 30 ships, and he took like 5 Spanish galleons, kept the British Navy at bay.
Blockaded the Thames River.
Yeah, he did. He was incredibly successful, but the thing that makes him so successful is he knew when to quit. Most of those guys didn't know when to quit till they were, about to lose their head.
Right.
This guy had a fortune that's unbelievably large, and he left. He's from Newfoundland, so he's a local guy. And he took his booty, went to sea, split it up with his guys, and then he went to the south of France and disappeared from history. One of the things we were wondering about, he would have had the ability and the manpower and the smarts to do something like that.
Okay.
And if you're going to take off to go to France and you're still worried about maybe being hung, you might leave some, sort of a nest egg behind. So some of the pirates did have pretty sophisticated stuff.
All right. I apologize to all pirates out there.
Well, what they used to do, though, when they captured a ship, they would literally interview their prisoners. And if they needed an engineer, then they would say, well, you're coming with us. If they needed someone who could read and write, and if they needed a specialty language, if they needed a cartographer, they would interview the people that were on that ship they captured. And if they had need of you, you went with them and you did as you were told. They were smart and astute. Not every one of them, but there were the Peter Eastons of the world of pirates.
Again, not ruling anything out. So there.
Well, having said all that, I don't think it was pirates. There. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well, there goes the season 12 spoiler.
But here's another thing that's interesting. Pirate is a funny word because there's also, if we look at the history of who owned land on Oak Island, and believe me, we have, a lot of them were privateers, which is basically a pirate sanctioned by the government. A lot of them.
Yeah,
I mean, the
right.
cast of characters on that island, they were all effectively, a lot of them were pirates of sorts.
It'd be a fun dinner table to have them all sitting around and telling stories.
One day.
Yeah. Speaking of theories and just different things, we're going to transition now. We call it a lightning round. When we have one guest on, we give them 1 minute to answer as many questions as possible. But since we have both of you gentlemen on, we're going to go 2 minutes, and your job is to answer as many questions. These could be just kind of quick questions related to the show, or not. It could be anything. So Ben is going to ask Rick, and then I'm going to ask you, Marty. And Ben, you're going to start. I'm going to start the timer, and we're just going to go back and forth.
Yeah. So timer starts after the first question is asked.
I'm getting scared.
These are just fun questions, like low risk. All right?
Yeah.
You got it.
All right, Ben, go ahead.
Hopefully. All right, Rick, when you see people finding treasure in the Bahamas, do you think, I wish Oak Island was somewhere warmer?
Absolutely.
Marty, what's the most famous person you've met as a result of the show?
Rick Lagina. I'll say Georgia.
Rick, how old is Marty?
70.
70.
Wrong.
60. 69.
No.
69.
No.
60.
Okay.
Marty, do members of the cast intentionally smear dirt on their faces and heads to make themselves look like they've been working harder?
Possibly, but I have never done that.
I'm not referring to you, just to clarify.
No. Possibly.
Rick, weirdest thing you saw at Oak Island?
My brother smearing mud on his face.
Oh, yeah. Figures.
Oh my gosh. Marty, if and when you dig up the treasure, do you anticipate it will cover the cost of digging it up?
I think sure hope so. Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Rick, favorite food to eat at the island?
Oh, boy. Well, I can tell you this. It's not pizza.
All right, Marty, what's the best way for me to crash the Lagina Thanksgiving dinner?
Just show up.
Oh, invite. We got an invite.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Absolutely.
Rick, how often do you backpack or hike?
I'm too old.
Oh.
And stop. Okay, Ben, how many questions do you ask there?
5.
You get 5. All right, so we get 9 total. Congratulations. I think that ties the lead there. So well done.
You mean Rick won then. That's what that means.
Well,
Well, you're on a team. You're competing against all of the guests we've had over the course of the season.
if Carl wasn't laughing so hard about the weirdest thing Rick saw on Oak Island.
I know. I ruined it for you. I apologize.
All right. It's okay. I forgive you.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have to bring in some like green bean casserole or something to show up.
Well, they do hot dishes. They're in the Midwest, so they're the hot dishes.
That's right. That's right. Somebody's calling into the show. We're getting somebody calling in right now. Is that Crew Williams?
What?
Crew Williams is he's also a gold miner. He's searching for gold. He's on the TV show Dead Man's Curse, also on the History Channel.
I'm honored to be here with Rick and Marty. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hey.
No. You don't need to do that. You're probably number 4 on that list anyway, and we're the worst.
No.
He was the one calling Rick.
You know what? You never said number 2. It's probably him.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. That's all I can say. So I want to say thank you for giving me a second to jump on here. But since I have you on the phone, I haven't been able to sleep last night. I've wanted to ask you this question so bad. What other information have you heard about Spanish or Templars in Canada? Or any other treasures for us starving treasure
Like
hunters?
besides Oak Island?
Oh, obviously besides Oak Island.
Rick, but there's a bunch of that. Amazingly so. I mean, go ahead, Rick. There's a lot of that.
Well, you'll learn something this year about that, referencing that very thing. But, you know, we are aware of possibility of some connections to Montreal. We, based on some of the lines that have been projected from Nolan's Cross, now there is the issue of projecting straight lines across a curved surface, which we have dealt with Corey and Mull's interpretation of the relationship between Oak Island, Versailles, and Jerusalem, the Temple Mount in particular.
Wow.
But no, there continues to be, and I can only say this in a very general way, there is a researcher who has actually drawn the possibility of some connections to the southern United States based on some relationship with Oak Island. So, yeah, the tentacles of this story, I believe, probably are outside of Oak Island, maybe even outside of Canada. The research continues to be quite remarkable and amazing, and the connective tissue that we still seek, I think, will be quite revealing. And again, you will learn something this year that I think will be quite astounding.
And then there's the thing, whether you're aware of it, but I bet you'd be very interested in it, about, Isle Royal, which is actually closer to Canada than it is the United States, is missing an awful lot of native copper. It's a fact. There was all kinds of native copper on that island that's missing. And there's theories that, people were visiting North America, Europeans were visiting North America, or maybe people from the Mideast or Greece or the Mediterranean, potentially long before we really know.
I think that's the amazing thing about history, is that it seems like the more we look into it, the more we don't know, and the more we're finding out as we go on. That's the beauty of it. Some say even better than gold.
That's exactly right.
Okay. I got another big question for you, because I don't know if you've seen our show, but my brother is on the show with us now. And treasure hunting, I mean, it's a stressful thing already, but two brothers working together. And Marty, I really want to take my hat off to you, because you believed in your brother from the very beginning. When I first watched that episode, Rick, when you put it all out there, I believed you, but I didn't think your brother would. And he went in so 100% on board, and you guys supported each other, and you went through all this for over a decade. What was it like doing that in front of the world? And what lessons did you guys learn as brothers and family and treasure hunters working together that can help future treasure hunters out there as we go on?
Boy, that's a big question.
It is.
Okay, all right. Here's a couple comments. It hasn't all been roses, okay? I mean, we will never, Rick and I, do a fake fight, for TV. We're never going to do that. We have had some real ones, okay? But you're right. At our core, we're going to support each other. And we think very differently. We think very differently, and I think that's a positive, too. You just, you have to just at your core say, okay, I gotta adjust because we're in this together. But it's been rocky on occasion. It's all his fault too, every time.
And Rick's side of the story now.
Probably because of Oak Island, but probably before too. The one thing as you get older, especially in an intimate setting like this, where we are a small team trying to do some pretty remarkable things, setting the bar higher and higher by the year. The value of two things: patience and perspective. It doesn't matter really that Marty and I disagree about things. We're entitled to, right? As Marty said, we think differently. But what matters is that I respect his perspective and he respects mine. Because once it becomes ensconced in your reality, then that means that one of us has to be right and one of us has to be wrong. And when it gets to that, you can't have resolution. You are so entrenched in your beliefs that you can't have a proper discourse or a dialogue to find a way to compromise. Or if not compromise, be accepting of the fact that his perspective wins out or my perspective wins out. And win is the wrong word. But perspective and patience are key to any endeavor in life, really. I that's what I believe, and I've learned that because Marty comes at Oak Island from a different perspective. At least initially he can speak to it, what this year has done for him. But initially we were separated by didn't mean we didn't support each other, but it meant that his perspective was very different than mine. And yet he has found a way, based on his commitment to science and factual analysis, he's come a ways. You should ask him how far he's come.
You said you had 2 questions.
I'm
That was 2. Actually, Crew, you're going to find out. Did you not just say you're working with your brother now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I looked at you guys as inspiration from the very beginning, just to even get out there. But bringing my brother in, it changed the entire dynamics, you know?
Sure.
And I love him to death, but we are different. And then the one thing, I thought it would be a lot tougher, but I think you nailed it, Rick, with that whole perspective, because we are totally different. And he looks at things differently, you know, and he was
That's good,
really
though.
open to the ley lines and on the type of things that I'm not that connected to, but they lined up, you know, and it pushed us forward. And without that outside perspective that I think we're all missing. I mean, look at the world today, right? Politics, we don't agree anymore. But if we work together, I mean, teamwork gets the dream work, right? So it's just amazing hearing it from you guys as such inspiration and mentors in our industry, and to see you guys doing it on the biggest level, on the biggest stage. It's just so inspirational. And my final part isn't even a question. It's just thank you. Thank you for giving us all inspiration. Thank you for showing us that, I mean, if you really just say heck with it and go out and do it, you can do anything. And I'm seeing the journey. The journey has been such a blessing for everybody, entertainment-wise, history-wise, and I mean, just hope. So thank you guys for doing what you're doing, and best of luck.
We would say the same to you.
Thank you for making us feel pretty good.
Well, hey, we all need mentors, right? So I was telling them last time, it's like Adventure University, but now you guys have set up the structures. You show us the scientific methods. You show us how to work together with outside sources, and that's what we're doing too.
Fantastic.
So, I mean, we're all growing together, so thank you. And I can't wait for season 12. What is it out, November 5th?
12.
12. Oh, season 12 on November 12th. I love it. And you can't forget it because it's the day after Remembrance Day. So
There you go.
thanks for having me on, guys. All the best. And I hope to run into you sometime. Canada's, I would say, a pretty small place, but you know where our coast is on the other side. Always welcome. Thanks, guys.
And you as well.
Thank you, crew. Take care.
We got one last question for you. You kind of teased some things in season 12 already, but we had to ask: is there anything else that you haven't revealed yet, or anything about your game plan for season 12 that we can look forward to?
Without getting too specific, I had a series, several specific agendas. Nolan's Cross, if you've watched the show, you know that this thing looms large in everything. And because I'm a skeptic,
Right.
and you nailed it, I am. I wanted to find out. I want to lift those boulders and see what's underneath them. See if there's a story under it.
Okay. And when you say you want to lift them, like you're using a tractor, you're not physically man.
Not a
okay.
tractor. These things weigh 40,000 pounds. No, this is a big crane.
I'm with you. I just didn't want to underestimate you, so that's why I was asking.
No. Well, Rick could do it by himself, but he's getting old. You can't make him do that anymore.
You know what Archimedes said? Give me a liver and a fulcrum, and I can move the world.
Yeah. Well, we use the crane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. So we've got Tuesday, November 12th, 9 p.m., 8 Central, the premiere of Season 12, The Curse of Oak Island. Catch Rick and Marty Lagina and check it out, and we'll see what's in store for us this season. So, again, thank you, gentlemen, so much for taking the time.
Thank you. It was fun. It was very nice.
Thank you.
The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Rowan uses rock-solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie-cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. All right, man, that was a lot of fun. We brought crew back in here to do the wrap up, the reaction. So, all right, crew, man, what did you think? Any takeaways?
Well, I'm a forever fan now. Let's keep it real. Like, it's so cool to see. Man, your heroes on TV. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. It's guys like that went against the grain and pushed it against all odds and lived their childhood fantasies. You know what I mean? And then two brothers,
Right.
one brother backing another brother, one being the believer and one being the businessman. You know what I mean? To see them come together, such a winning combo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm super excited for this season 12. Comes out November 12th. Like, I'm going to be watching it the moment it drops. So.
Watch party at your house. Yeah.
And we did. Okay, so we learned a couple things that were kind of key, kind of like, I don't know, they were kind of cast to the side. But, Crew, you mentioned that you've been trying to get, like, on that, not on the show necessarily, but on the actual island itself. And if you're paying attention, we learned, like, you can physically get on the island. If you just want to swim across, it's not that far. It looks like, what, like 50 yards?
It's actually doable. I got a buddy, lives in North. He lives out there, right? And when he told me about it, I was in Toronto. I had the metal detectors. I was at where the Battle of York happened. And I'm just hooked on history now, you know? And it's like there's no bigger epicenter right now in Canada than Oak Island. And it's a mystery in itself, from pirate legend, Templar lore, whatever you believe, there's something underneath there. And I'm hoping that the season they find it. So all I know is I can't wait for November 12th.
I know. So when we found out you wanted to join the show, it made us a little nervous because we're like, has he been trying to contact these guys? And they're like, just like, no, keep Crew away. And now we're like, hey, let's have Crew on. Like, this could be really good. He's a stalker.
I'm stalking them. No, to be honest with you, they're so big time, you can't even find a real Rick or Marty account. Okay,
Yeah,
you're more likely to come
across
Rick and Morty accounts than Rick and Marty. Okay, so to be able to see him in the flesh was awesome. To be able to talk to him was even better, and then to just be able to see that they are who they portray themselves to be. Like, that's one of the best things about TV these days is when you actually get to see that the people you're watching are the people that you've been watching, and so that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And talk about inspiration.
Right.
My God, dude, they've been doing this for a decade. And so for me to be able to relate what we do on Dead Man's Curse and to be able to see the levels that they've taken it, it just shows me that, I mean, anything's achievable as long as you have a team to work that dream.
Right.
You know?
And people that are willing to work on a team. I mean, they do a good job of bringing people together. They gather people together, and they seem to value people, which is not typical, especially when you're searching for gold. I imagine it's, you know, a lot of people kind of out for themselves. They don't want to reveal secrets. Yeah, that's right. So it's not like that at all. But if you do swim across the channel to get to Oak Island, just a little gear tip is you may want to put your metal detector inside some sort of like Ziploc bag or something.
Maybe a giant water. Well, where am I going to put my water?
That's right. Just filter from the flood tunnels.
So what do you think that there's like traps on their island? Like, does that make you nervous when you find your gold that there's traps around it? And you have
Well, you know, I actually had somebody reach out to me about trying to go and look at that Yamashito gold. I'm not quite sure. I don't even know the name. If I don't know the name, I shouldn't be looking out for it. But they were like notorious for putting all these booby traps in their stuff because they were Japanese soldiers that were protecting it after the war. So I said no, because a curse is one thing. That's a whole nother.
That's right. Yeah. I imagine if you saw like evidence of gold, I don't know, in the distance, like you got to start watching your shins, right? Like,
there's a trap somewhere, you know? But the cool thing about Oak Island is that it's so engineered, you know? And we always think back like we're from the future, so we know everything. Back in the day, it was amazing the engineering they were able to do with what they had, you know? And to be able to improvise a tidal tunnel system. Right. Dude, that's on a level that there's something so significant underneath that you can only fathom what it could actually be.
I worry like I'm not smart enough. Like if there's a tunnel and then, you know, they always come to the dial where you have to like push like certain symbols or whatever. I'm the guy that's gonna get like right away this trap's hitting me because I'm not gonna know.
Well, that's why I asked them about these Templar markings, right? Because the more you know, the more you can go forward, you know, and get stuff. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the right pieces to the puzzle, good luck. You know,
I know.
Set up that way for a reason.
That's funny, Ben. I have more the other issue. Like, I feel like if you have a dial, and I actually have like a little sheet of paper that has the answers, like sun, triangle, plus sign, I'll know the answer and I'll still like jack it up. I'll be like, oh wait, sun first, dang it, and then it then you're over, right?
Well, at least you're reading the directions first. I just go straight in and try to smash it. So
yeah,
that's what I do. Yeah, we know that. I open up my dehydrated food, and just start going to town. I don't even add water, take out the packets.
there you go.
Yeah. Do you have any side gigs, crew? Like, they actually have bricks. They make bricks up at Oak Island out of all the clay, and they're thinking about selling it now. Do you have any like side hustles from your treasure hunting?
Wow. Hopefully selling the gold I signed, right?
Okay. That's not a side hustle. That's the main hustle.
That's not the side
That's
hustle.
right. Well, I'm looking at it as this. It's plan A all the way, okay? Because I'm
There
not
you go.
signing up for something I'm going to plan to fail on. And at the end of the day, I appreciate them utilizing and sharing pieces of Oak Island with us, but I think it'd be more significant to sell us pieces of the treasure. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I get more excited
Well,
about gold.
if you want to put snow in a plastic bag and sell some glacial spring water,
Hey, I'll sell it to an Eskimo if I can, but either way.
Any last thoughts? And wrapping up, any last thoughts about Oak Island or anything that kind of came out of that conversation?
Well, for me, I just look at it as they're just so inspirational to us all, and what they talked about, two brothers working together from different, viewpoints and perspectives, but still not trying to be about who's the winner, who's right, who's wrong, but just to be able to come together and look at that big picture together. And that's how you win,
Right.
you know what I mean? And I just look at it like the whole world needs more of that. And I think that that's why this genre of television is being successful now, is because it's showing us what happens when we work together. It's showing us what happens if we strive to reach our dreams and accomplish goals. And sometimes you're going to fail. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but just never quit. It's the best advice my dad ever gave me. He's like, been fighting. I thought he was going to give me a 1, 2, 3 knockout combo. He said, boy, just don't quit. But I'm telling you, in between rounds, when you're about to puke and you want to die, and you're like, no, just don't quit. And that's how you win, So,
don't stop moving.
Rooting for them. And I know they're going to win. And this is going to be an awesome season from everything they're talking about. I can't wait for November 12th.
I got a behind-the-scenes question for you in that regard. So let's say that you find the gold, they find the gold during the season, whatever. Before the season is released, wouldn't it be leaked to the news or to the media that the gold has been found? Like, would we know ahead of time, I guess is my question.
Put it this way. I believe that a man named Mr. Carter found possibly or partial Slumach's gold.
Okay.
And that was back in the 1900s. Nobody ever found out about it. He cashed out, bought a 5 times bigger lot. He hid it even from his own family, okay? You know what I mean? So if he can hide finding Slumach's gold from his own family,
okay,
bro, these networks could hide it from leaking to the media.
We'll have Crew Williams on, and he won't be in his car anymore interviewing. He'll be like in a mansion, pool or ocean behind him. Yeah.
When I have a gold grill like and a crown, you know what I found.
That's right.
Oh,
All right, last thing to close it out. We kind of teased the beginning of the show. As mentioned, we have a giveaway. I don't know what I said at the beginning of the episode, but it's the Alto sleeping pad. So don't sacrifice the comfort of your own bed just because you're miles away from it. The Altos backpacking mattress, designed as a large backpacking pad, features 2 oversized air chambers on the edges of the pad to help keep you centered, even if you tend to roll when you sleep, like Ben does. So the Alto sleeping pad, we got a giveaway for this one. And Ben, how do they get the pad? How do they get it?
Yeah, so I think what they should do is go on YouTube or email us and tell us what you guys think of the lightning round. It's something we've been doing. We've been having a lot of fun with it. But we have no idea if anyone else likes it or not, or we're just the only ones that seem to like it.
and one thing I want to say is you can't go wrong with Teton, okay?
Love it.
Somebody's going to get elected. All right. Thank you guys for having me on once again. You guys rock. And anytime you need me, you know I'm here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a good week and God bless everybody.
I want